those ears pump through the rest of their bodies, and it kind of works like ear conditioning, keeping them nice and cool. As the weather has started to warm up here, we've seen a lot of wildlife, things like ground squirrels, cottontail rabbits, jackrabbits, Canadian geese, all sorts of things. None of them are part of our collections though, and none of them are vaccinated. So if you see them, go ahead and take a picture if you want, but don't try and feed them or pet them because they do bite, and that's not a fun end to your day here at the zoo. Up on the top of the hill there to the left, that big white pyramid is over in Papago Park. That is Governor Hunt's tomb. Governor Hunt was the first governor here in Arizona. He loved all things Egyptian and wanted to be buried like the pharaoh. So he's actually up there with his family, his in-laws, and possibly his dog as well, as rumor has it. To the left over there is one of the entrances towards Desert Lion Trail. We have two cool animals up there. One is the Arabian horse, which I'll talk about later. The other is the desert bighorn sheep. Keep an eye out along the fence line for their fluffy white tails. Most of them blend in very well with the rocks. They are native to Arizona and are used to running all over these views and camouflaging themselves in the rocks. You may see them at the top of the view sometimes. They are natural athletes. They can climb up an almost completely vertical slope and leap and land on just a 2-inch ledge, even from just a day old. I think if human babies could do that, it would make parenting a lot harder. We're going to be leaving Arizona and entering Africa again here. On the left-hand side, this is our African lion exhibit. We have two African lions, Cookie and Katambi, who are probably on the other side of the exhibit, where they've been all day. Cookie is our 18-year-old lioness, and Katambi is our 7-year-old male lion. They are doing what lions do best, which is just lying around. African lions do spend anywhere from 16 to 21 hours a day sleeping. And they like to come out during the cooler hours of the day so that they can use all of their energy to hunt instead of having to use it cool in the middle of the day. Cookie right here is looking very comfy, but it is the girls that do most of the hunting. And we are very gracious. In return, the boys like Katambi laying up against the wall there will help protect the prize. So if you look at Katambi, he has that big fluffy mane. It is nice and dark, which makes him look very attractive to the ladies. But it does serve another purpose. It will help protect them and get into a fight with any other lions or any animals out there on the savannah. Hopefully, though, he wouldn't have to get into any fights because that mane makes him look big and scary. When it comes to animals, the bigger you look, the scarier you are, even if that is made of fluff. You might wonder what kind of animal would want to get into a fight with an African lion. Well, here on the left again, we have one of our spotted hyenas.
One more.
Right there in the shade, taking a little nap. These guys hunt around the same time as the African lions do. And I did say hunt, while they have a reputation for being scavengers, they do their own hunting as well, and they do like to eat everything that they hunt, so the bones, the teeth, the fur, the hooves, the horns, everything. And their bite is actually strong enough that they could bite through an adult sized bone wall if they wanted to. I don't know why they would want to do that, but they could if they did. We have two older boys in there, Callie and Huckleberry. They may look pretty big, but the girls of the species are actually up to 25% larger because when it comes to hyenas, the girls are in charge. Even their little baby girls are higher ranking than the adult males. Over here to the left, you'll have to use your x-ray vision to look through that bamboo fence, but you might be able to spot some of our Arabian oryx. I didn't see one right up the front here. This is the back side of their exhibit, so if you want to see them up close, head down the other side of the Desert Life Trail here to the left. They are very pretty. They look a lot like a unicorn if they turn their head, and there's two big long horns on their head lined up. We are very proud of the Arabian oryx here at the Phoenix Zoo because back in 1962, when we opened as the Maytag Zoo, we had what was called the world's first. So Arabian oryx were going extinct on the Arabian Peninsula, so they went gathering up every single one they could find and managed to find a total of 3 of them. So they took those 3, plus another 6 from private institutions, brought them all here, and started a breeding program. And now we are actually credited with saving the Arabian oryx from the brink of extinction, which is amazing because they're the only animal on record to go from being completely extinct in the wild to being thriving in the wild. And we wouldn't have been able to do it without people coming to the zoo. Money from every ticket and membership sold goes directly to our conservation program. So thank you so much for being here today. We really do appreciate it. To the right here is our newly refurbished Southern White Rhino exhibit. Lulu is a little shy. She doesn't like big crowds, and she does have access to her national museum today. Oh no, she is in the very back over there. You're right behind that row. She is 20 years old. She's a lot younger than our previous rhino. When she is up and about, you'll be surprised at how quickly she can move. They can actually run up to about 30 miles an hour.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, I see
To the
it.
left of the tree over here,
Nalupulo
in the
కలిసిపోయింది.
cave
ఆ
towards the
కలర్లో
back, I
కలిసిపోయింది.
see our male mandrill Spock laying down there. His sister Pearl is also in here. She's a lot smaller than him. He weighs about 75 pounds. Mandrills are the largest body of all of the monkeys, and they have bright blue and red faces, so they can easily see each other, even in dim lighting. Of course, as we can
Oh,
see,
you got
they're
monkeys
also
here, Sridutt.
predators.
Come on.
So they do have canine teeth that are longer and sharper than an African lion's teeth, and they do like to show them off to intimidate people. So if they're smiling at you, you probably don't want to smile back. To the right-hand side here, we have some Sridutt right up the very front there. Sridutt means giraffe neck in the Somali language, and those guys can swivel their hips and stand totally upright on their hind legs to get some medium-level leads the other animals aren't able to reach. Back to the left of the train, we have Hamadryas baboons. We have 3 girls here at the moment, and our big fluffy male Moja that was just sitting in the corner, but he does look like he's walking more towards the middle. You can easily tell him apart from the others. He has all of that fluff that looks like a big fur coat. It's the same idea for the lion's mane. The bigger you are, the scarier you look. So the girls will help groom him throughout the day and make him look even bigger and fluffier. They have those talons with bottoms that help them sit on sharp hot rocks all day and groom. It also stops their legs from falling asleep if they have to get up and run away from predators. While other predators in this exhibit to the left, I did see one of the painted dogs in there walking along the fence line, but they do tend to hang out in the very front of the exhibit. They have a very pretty coat that looks like sunlight coming in through the leaves, and it helps them camouflage when they're out hunting. They are very good hunters. Going from canine to feline in here, see if you can spot our next predators. Keep an eye along the fence line and up the back in the shade for our cheetahs. That is where they spend most of their day. We have 3 of them. Their names are Rhett, Bo, and Wilkes. They are triplets. They're 3 years old. And they live pretty similarly to how they would in the wild. Cheetah brothers do like to stick together and form what's called a coalition. So by working together, they can expand their territory and they can help their hunting success as well. Because by working together, they can take down much bigger animals than they would be able to do alone. They're the fastest land animal on the planet, able to run up to about 75 miles an hour,
No, that's the
although only for a
cheetahs.
few seconds.
Oh, snakes.
And they have non-retractable claws that dig into the ground like athlete's feet, so the end of their tail is slashed like a rudder, so when they are running at those high speeds, they can make really sharp turns. This building to the left here is the Arthur and Elaine Johnson Conservation Center. We take care of some smaller native species there, but unfortunately you aren't able to see them from the train or the trail because we want to limit the amount of human interaction they get, so when they are released into the wild, they can survive by themselves. But if you want to see into the Conservation Center, we do have a live feed on the TV over there for you to check out if you're interested. The animals in there include Chiricahua leopard frogs, narrow-headed garter snakes, Mount Graham red squirrels, and what we like to call our BFFs, the black-footed ferrets. Black-footed ferrets were declared extinct in the wild twice, and in the 80s they did find a small population of them and gathered them up and started a breeding program, and now now across the United States, over 500 of them have been released into the wild, which is great, but hopefully that number keeps going up. Over here to the left-hand side, we have our dromedary camel ride, wildest ride at the Phoenix Zoo. You can tell they're dromedary camels because they only have 1 hump on their back. There is another type of camel called a Bactrian camel, and those guys have 2 humps on their back. Easiest way to remember that difference is if you take the capital C in dromedary and put it on its side, it has 1 hump. And if you take the capital B in Bactrian and put it on its side, it has 2 humps. It is a common misconception that camels store water in their humps. They don't store any water in there. They actually store popcorn, and they fill it up every morning over here in this snack bar. Now, I'm kidding. They store fat in their humps, and that fat can help us go an entire month without food and up to 2 whole weeks without water, which is very important when you're out there crossing the desert. This next exhibit on the left-hand side, as we come down this little hill, has 2 different animals in it. Keep an eye out for Beaker, our giant anteater, and Yellow, our maned wolf. Now, I don't see either of them, but I do smell Yellow. She smells a lot like a skunk, and she looks like a big wolf, even though she is called a maned, she looks like a big fox, even though she is called a maned wolf. She's not a wolf, a fox, or a skunk. She's in her own little genus all by herself because she is a very special girl. Beaker, our giant anteater, doesn't actually like to eat ants. They bite his tongue too much. So he likes to eat termites instead. So he really should be called a terminator. To the right over here is Monkey Village, home to our 14 common squirrel monkeys. It is the only place like it in the U.S. where you can go inside the exhibit with the monkeys. They only weigh about 2 pounds, fully grown, so keep an eye out up in the trees for some movement. That is your best bet for spotting them. We have a adult in there at the moment. His name is Tuvok. He's almost fully grown now, but when